Ready na ba ang iyong mga paa? Handa nang umalis, magliwaliw at lumarga. Buti na lang taga dito ka. Sing dami ng happening, ang dami ng isla. It's more fun in the Philippines. Bakit palalayo? Sobrang swerte kaya ng tsinelas mo. Nakatapak ka sa paraiso. It's more fun in the Philippines.
Good day, magandang araw, and maayong punta to all of our loyal viewers. This is the talk show that gets to know more about our country. Let's go, Pilipinas!
Today, we will be dealing with our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, and his viewpoints about nationalism.
Yes, and we invited several historians to fully understand our topic for today. And after this, we hope that we extended the knowledge that you guys have upon this topic. Stay tuned, we will be right back after the break. This is Let's Go!
Pilipinas. And we are back. Now, let's welcome our first guest.
An anthropologist, and archivist, and a Filipino historian renowned for promoting a distinctly nationalist point of view of Filipino history. Please welcome Ms. Badulis.
Is a Filipino journalist, author, historian, and a public servant. She was a recipient of the SEA Right Award. Wow! Now that's what I call a credential. A round of applause for Miss Patron.
And for our last guest, a Filipino historian best known for his writings about Philippines' national hero Jose Rizal, and for Looking Back, his bi-weekly editorial page column in the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Wow! She served as the chairwoman of the National Commission of the Philippines on 2002 to 2011, and currently the chairwoman of the National Commission of Culture and the Arts, Miss Micah Leyma. A round of applause, everyone.
Our guest today is not just any regular people, but they are known for their occupation. Now let's begin our talk. According to Dr. Jose Rizal, nationalism is the habit of identifying oneself with a single nation and recognizing no other duty than that of advancing its interests and those of people who find themselves having major commonalities on their own initiatives, resulting to their identification of themselves to a single nation. So question: did a pre-colonial Philippines exist even before Spain? What is your opinion on that, Miss Steph?
Before I answer that question, let me all greet you. Good day, Pilipinas. My answer for that would be yes, because before the Spanish colonized the Philippines, there existed a 500-year-long tradition of indigenous feminism that predated women's liberation in the West. Babaylan refers to the pre-colonial Philippine tradition of female mystical healers whose spiritual connectedness was a source of political and social power. In pre-colonial Philippines, the Tagalogs had a writing system based on Sanskrit and an advanced metallurgy technology. They live in loose confederation under a complicated social system with hierarchical ranking and religion system that varied regionally. Chinese traders, on the other hand, passed through the region with some regularity, and Islamic sultanates that were established in some areas, mainly, of course, in the south. Under the Spanish, the Tagalogs converted to Christianity and adopted more Western ways.
Wow, so even before we are colonized by the Spaniards, we are already a pre-colonial country. For our next idea, was our pre-colonial country a nation? Miss Abby Patron?
Yeah, so to all, especially to the two of you. The pre-colonial Philippines, way before the Spaniards came, has an already existing culture which were not distinguished by most Filipinos, especially with the newborn Filipino people. In addition to that, the Philippines possessed a very advanced civilization and a complex working society, and also a culture full with works of literature and arts. This pre-colonial Philippines is a nation of our ancestors who share the same culture and working society. By the 15th century, by the 15th century, the city-states in the Philippine archipelago were organized in strict social classes. In fact, the Filipinos lived in settlement called barangays before the colonization of the Philippines by the Spaniards communities. There are various ethnic groups in the archipelago established by the city-states. It is often called by Raha or Elephant. The city-states were formed by assimilating small political units or called barangay that were lead each barangay by a datu, which every barangay consists of about 100 families each. Those are the reasons why the pre-colonial Philippines is considered as a nation. Thank you.
So many interesting ideas. After the break, we will get to know more about Rizal, nationalism, and pre-colonial Philippines. This is Let's Go! Pilipinas.
I don't care about the funny way you wear your hair. You're beautiful and I just stare. I like all of you. I'd like to roll up in a ball of you and sing a concert in the hall of you.
Thank you to the men and women at First Energy who are going above and beyond.
And we are back for our next question for Miss Leyma. What is Dr. Rizal's point of view on nationalism?
Dr. Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines, is not only admired for possessing intellectual brilliance but also for taking a stand and resisting the Spanish colonial government. While these deaths sparked revolutions to overthrow the tyranny, Rizal will always be remembered for his compassion toward the Filipino people and the country. Rizal had been very vocal against the Spanish government, but in a peaceful and progressive manner. For him, the pen was the mightier than the sword. And through his writing, he exposed the corruption and wrongdoings of government officials as well as the Spanish friars. But among his best works, two novels stood out from the rest, No Limitang Here and El Polibisterista. In both novels, Rizal harshly criticized the Spanish colonial rule in the country and exposed the ills of Philippine society at the time. And because he wrote about the injustice and brutalities of the Spaniard in the country, the authorities banned Filipinos from reading the controversial books, yet they were not able to ban it completely. As well, more Filipinos read the books, their eyes opened to the truth that they were not suffering unspeakable abuses at the hands of the friars. These two novels by Rizal, now considered his literary masterpiece, are said to have indirectly sparked the Philippine Revolution. Today, Dr. Rizal's brilliance, compassion, courage, and patriotism are greatly remembered and recognized by the Filipino people.
Very impressive. Now we know the viewpoints of Rizal when it comes to nationalism.
Wow, so much learnings today. And to end this talk, our last question. What did Rizal want to accomplish when he learned about our pre-colonial history?
Rizal used his intellectual and writing talents to write about the Spanish colonial elite and atrocities committed towards the natives by the friars in the name of the church. He translated and published his writings in many languages. However, this meant Rizal faced a strong public opposition from elites in many countries who also wanted to protect their interests in. Rizal then returned to the Philippines in 1892 and formed a civic movement called La Liga Filipina. His goal for this movement was to unite Filipinos for protection from first, violence, and second, in injustice, and of course, to fight for the change through peaceful and legal means.
Thank you all so much for our guest today. I hope our viewers learned a lot about pre-colonial histories and about nationalism.
And that ends our talk for today. Again, this is the talk show that gets to know more about our country,
Our culture, our heroes in our history. This is Let's Go!
Pilipinas.
Good day, maayong buntag, and magandang araw to all. God bless us everyone.
Philippines, bakit malalayo? Sobrang swerte kaya ng tsinelas mo. Nakata